Hello everyone, Sigmus here, and today we'll be doing something different and special. As you have probably already noticed, I do not have a game showing on the screen. Instead, I have Visual Studios, which is an IDE and compiler for programmers. You heard me, for programmers. So, I will be programming and developing a game. Now this doesn't mean I will not post any more gameplays on my channel. I will still continue to record and stream all my gameplays, and hopefully be able to produce them in an entertaining and non-time consuming way. Anyways, this series will basically be a tutorial series on how to program and develop games. In the early stages of this series, we will only develop simple and easy games. And as we tread further along the track, we will explore and create more advanced and complex games. Now you may ask, since when did I become a programmer? Well, I started to have an interest in programming and developing games back in 2014. At a span of 2 years, I was able to develop my very own game, Hopeless, which I haven't released yet due to many problems that have occurred and other priorities I had to take care of. I do hope that I will be able to get back to refurbishing and improving the game for release. But as the title says, right now it's kinda hopeless. Alright, let's get started. Again, for this series, we'll be using Visual Studios. Now, to install it, all you have to do is go to the website right here, which I'll be showing in a few. If I can get it up, right there. Okay, sweet. So just head on to the Visual Studios Microsoft.com and get to Visual Studios, download Visual Studios, and hit the Professional 2019. Once you hit that, you'll get the install file and just click on that and go through all the process. Once that's all done, you'll actually end up with this this window, I should say. And here, all you want to do is just get the desktop development with C++ tick. Go ahead and install that. For me, I do have the mobile development, game development Unity, and game development with C++. But with this series, we aren't really going to use any of these at all right now. So just all we need is this desktop development with C++. Go ahead, install that, and once you're done installing that, you will get the Visual Studios 2019. There you go. Sweet, all is done. Now, in this Visual Studios 2019, we'll go ahead, create a game, create a new project, hit that create new project, and what we want is actually the console app. Now, there is a reason for this, which I will show you in a bit. The only reason why we're not going to start from scratch is because of all the files that go along with it. Well, it's basically Scratch, so it's an empty file. So we'll go ahead, console app, and we'll just name it whatever you want. We'll just name this project, I guess. Oh, well, I guess we'll just name it the game that we will be playing, or that we will be developing, I should say. So yeah, I guess for this few episodes, I have decided to create a really simple game. This game was released in 1997 and was published by the phone company Nokia, which is, you probably have guessed it already, Snake. So yeah, we'll just go ahead, type that Snake as a project name, get to our tutorials page, and create. Alright, so once this creates, and once this is all done, it's just loading there. Alright, I should probably show you guys the screen. Boom, right there. So, now, the reason why I chose to do the console app is because of these external dependencies that we need for this program. Without all of this, when using for Scratch, we won't have any of these. We won't be able to do our include iOS streams, just all the other dependencies that we need for developing this great game. Now, we do have this, which we really don't need, so we can just go ahead and delete all that. And we'll just start from scratch on our code. Okay, I guess we'll just head on to it. So, first, we need to include our libraries. So what we need is the include iOS streams. Now, those familiar with C++, know that the iOS stream is pretty much the basic requirements for a C++ code. And we also would like to have a main function. This is where all our program and all our code will be run. Yeah, that's run will run on. That's pretty much what the main does. So we'll leave that there for now. We're not going to implement anything. So what we'll actually do is we'll make it return 0, because why not? So it's just basically terminating it for now. We do need to have using namespace. So again, this is another requirement when developing a C++ program. So using namespace std, I don't really have an explanation for those, but anyways, we'll go ahead and initialize our variables first. Actually, no. Okay, we'll instead determine the requirements that we need when developing a game. So first things first is we need to be able to set up the game when it starts. So I guess we'll just create a function for that. So we'll get a void and we'll name it game setup, game underscore setup. All right, make that into a function by putting those brackets and a curly brackets at the end, void game setup. And then we need the game to be able to draw itself. So this is basically the photo or the picture of the game, how we're able to see the game. So we'll go ahead and make a function for that, void game draw. Or I should just say window. I think that's a better window. Yep, that's a better name for it. Void game window. Then we need some user input because we will be going left, right, up, down with our game. So let's just go ahead and hit that void user input. Actually, to keep consistency, we'll just call this game input as well, just to be consistent in a lot of things. Now we'll just go ahead and save that for any changes. Okay, and then now we need is the game functions, or basically how the game works. I'm thinking of a name to call it actually. Let's put the void there, game underscore. I wonder what's a good name to call how the game works. We'll just call it game program. I mean, really, it is the program that runs the code for it. So, yep, we'll go ahead, name it game program. And now we've got the setup of game. So when it starts, the window of the game, so what it is, the input, so what you put into it, and how the program works. Now, we're gonna pretty much call this all into our main function. So instead of return 0, we're actually going to go setup, game setup. And that means it's in order kind of thing. So we're going to put the game setup first, then we're going to draw it, then we're going to take in any user input, and we're going to run the program. All right, so we've got our game set up there. Now we got to go to our game window. This will draw our window. Then we got to get any user input, put into it. And then finally we get to run our program. All right. So go ahead, save that, and we will go and now time to initialize our variables. Initialize our variables. Sweet. Now for our first variable, of course, we'll be just getting a saying that, oh, if the game is running or if it's not running, pretty much. So we'll make this a boolean, and a boolean is basically a variable that runs true or false. So, you know, the variable that you initiate can just run true or false. So we'll go that game, I guess. No, we'll just call it the snake game. Snake game. All right. So that can either run true or false, and this is basically saying where is the game running or is the game not running. And we'll also need a width for our screen. So we'll make that a constant. This stays constant. So a constant width of, let's go with a 50 by 50 screen. Const int height equals 50 as well. So we got our width and our height of our window there. And now we need our player X and Y axes. So player X and Y, we need our, well, what's there in a snake game? There's the player, there's the walls, there's the target, the goal, the ones that, I don't know, what would you call those? I mean, fruits, you've got, I mean, well, they are fruits, or circles, dots. Some games have them in various kinds of forms. Anyway, so we'll just say our target X and our target Y. And we also need to have our scores. So scores or score, I'll just make it score. Okay, so that's pretty much the variables that we really need for our game. We do need a direction variable though, so it's determining whether the snake or our character goes left, right, up, down. So for that, we'll be using an enum, or an enumerated type, if I can say it properly. And that's basically going to create our data set, pretty much, where it's going to create the elements, or where it's going to say left, right, up, down, or not moving at all. And we're going to call this directions. So we're going to get a curly brackets there to say, or what's within our data set of directions. We're going to get the variable stop. We're going to name it stop, and we'll name that equal to 0. We're going to go up, up, down, left, and right. So there you go. And then we'll just say our directions is equal to dir. So our directions are there. All right, save that. Oops, zooming in and out there. Now we'll go to our void game setup, and we'll say that our game is it's not running. Wait, no. Since we're setting up the game, it's running. So we have to say our snake game is running. So snake game equals true because it's a boolean. So we'll go true. It's running. Yes. Okay. I'm getting like kind of mixed up here. Okay, so snake game is true, and our direction right now is equal to stop. So our character isn't moving, because it'd be kind of troublesome if we just started the game and then suddenly our character just smashes into a wall. All right, now we'll do this is x equals width. So our x position of the character is equal to the width of the room, divided by a random number. We'll go that. So this is basically saying if our, if I can get an illustration here. Let me just pop that up. All right, so this is pretty much, what we'll do is we'll create a box that's, so what we'll do is we'll create a box there. All right, and let's say our snake, that's our width. So that's our width, and that's our height, obviously. So basically what this is saying is that our snake will appear within the width, divided by a random number between the width, pretty much. So it could appear here, could appear here, could appear right into the middle. So that's pretty much what it's saying. Same with the height, could appear up here, 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 or you know, just anywhere pretty much. Just so we have like a random selection of where our width would appear. So that's pretty much that for that explanation there. So we'll go back to our snake game. What we'll do is we'll get a random number, and we'll actually, nope, we won't do this. So we'll get a random number. Whoops, not caps. We'll get a random number. And we'll get the remainder of our width. It's basically saying modulus width. So that's pretty much what it's saying, is that it will not go to the borders of our width. It will not appear at the border of our width. It can be random, but just not within the borders. Alright, and that will do the same with the y. So random border modulus height. Alright, so that's for our setup. We also need to set up our target. So we'll get our target x, the x-axis, and we'll do the same. We'll make it random in all areas, in width, and we'll get our target y, and we'll make it random as well. So that means they will appear somewhere randomly in the map. They could be close together, they could be far away from each other, and another possibility though is that they could actually be right next to each other. Well, not next to, inside each other, if I can say. So we'll make an error on that one. We'll just mark it error, or not really an error, it's more like an advantage, because you know when you're on top of the fruit or on top of the target, you're gonna get the score straight away. So that I'll call it an error. Error when target and player are on top. Therefore, what this means is we'll pretty much do an if. If I can actually combine these two. So we'll go here. If oh wait, no, because it's setting the x and y first and the target of x and y first. So it is after. So if x is equal to target x and y is equal to target, oops, sorry guys, let me just shut that down, is equal to target y. Alright, so this is saying that if the fruit and player are colliding within the game setup, then what we'll do is we will create another random selection. So we'll just go ahead, copy that, do that. So this saying is it will make it a random selection, but then if it's the same, we'll do another random one. And this is pretty much just gonna keep looping, because do another random one and it's still the same, so do another random one until it's not the same, pretty much. Yeah, so we'll do that, and we'll do else. Oh wait, no, not else. We'll actually just gonna set our score. There's nothing else to set, so we'll just go score is equal to 0. We'll start at 0. So that's pretty much our game setup. We're gonna run the snake game. We're gonna make it equal to stop, meaning the snake's not moving. We're gonna set a random place to spawn and a random place for our target to spawn. But if they're spawning at the same place, then we'll set another one. We'll set our score to 0. Alright. Now obviously if I run this, nothing would happen. Well, nothing should happen. Yeah, as you see, there's nothing there. So we'll go ahead and close that. And I am getting a warning though. The enum. Okay, no, that's fine. We don't have to worry about that. Anyways, now we will set up the game window. So what we wanted to do is to draw this, we actually, since there's movement to it, we want to clear up the screen. Otherwise it's just going to keep redrawing on top and on top of each other. And well, not even on top of each other. It could actually be in like a next line and then the next line and then the next line, and we do not want that. So we're going to clear the system every time we draw this. So every time we set this up, it's going to clear the system, put a new one, clear the system, put a new one, and it's going to do this really rapidly to be able to, you know, yeah. So we're dealing with our system, with our compiler. I am getting a, okay, no, this one. So expected code. So we want a clear, and to clear it in command prompt, you go CLS. So clear system clear, and there you go. So that clears our screen. Now we want a for loop. So what this is that our for loop, what it does is it's gonna draw up our borders. If we get our paint back, I will get all these out though. So let me just delete all that and pop you guys back to paint. There you go. All right. So if we check here, what that will do is we're just going to draw up our borders here, and then it's going to draw up our border here. And what it's actually going to do is it's going to draw a border like this. So this is what it's going to look like for a bit. Like that. Because there's no spaces that's been added yet. So that's what our target right now, and we'll add the space later. So let's just remove that. Take that out. There you go. Okay, so what we want is for a for loop for a new integer I. We'll make it equal to 0. I is less than our width. Okay, and we'll make that I plus plus. So this is basically saying that, so if our integer, which starts at 0, if it's less than our width, then we're going to continuously plus our integer 0. So it's going to pretty much go I equals 0, and then if our width, if it's still less than our width, which is 50, then it's going to go I is equal to 1, still less than our width, I equals 2, all the way till I equals 50. Once it reaches I equals 50, it will completely stop. This for loop will stop. So in this for loop, if our I does not equal to 50, then we're going to print out our boundaries. So count is basically printing it out. Not really sure how it's like what's long for count. It's basically printing it, showing it up on the screen. So we'll make our boundaries. What do you guys suggest our boundary should be? What's a good one? I guess no, not an L, because then sideways would be bad. I'm really having a hard time deciding what boundaries we should get. I guess we'll just go with like a asterisk boundary. So we'll draw that. Now I'll show you what it pops up here. And it should pop up right about there. So there you go. It's popping up. It goes from the first one and it does an asterisk, and then it goes to the next one, asterisk, asterisk, until it goes to reaches its width of 50. So that's 50 characters right there, 50 asterisks. All right. So we got that done, the top bit. And now we will be working on the middle bit. So let's just see here. I'll show you how it happens. So let's get our paint. Oops. So we'll get paint here, and what it does is it's created this. Now it will create a line here, and then what we'll actually do is that it will, to represent this, I'll actually change the color to yellow. It's just going to create a space. Whoops, that is not what I want. Can you get that? Yep, there you go. And it's black. Of course it's black. Okay. Yep, there you go. So it's going to create another space there, and then it's going to create there. So it's just going to be that, and then it's going to develop a space, and it's going to develop another asterisk. And it's going to keep continuing to do that until it reaches the bottom bit, which is another border. So we will do the top bit first, so this bit first. And to do that, nope, we don't say that. To do that, we just need to create another for loop. So for integer, let's go I again, I equals 0, and this time we will do the width. So as the width goes, as the width is lower, we're going to increase I plus plus. All right, now while the width is still low, we are actually going to create another for loop, and this time it's not the width, sorry, the height. as the height is still at 0 or at a certain value less than its own less than the value we set it, which is 50, then we're gonna basically now set the width. We're gonna set the so we'll go J for this one. We're basically gonna set the spaces and the asterisks within the line, the first line, the second line, third line, and so on till the 50th line, as you see on the height here. Sorry, that I didn't really explain that well, did I? In other words, the for loop here is just saying for the first line of the height. So for, let's say this is our box here. So for this line, we will do this. And then we'll add to that number and we will do this for this line. And then we'll, next one, this, this, this. So that's what this for loop's doing. Now this for loop is saying at this part of the first bit, if I can get it. Okay, so we'll just go at this part for the first bit. We will be doing this and then this and then this again. So that's what this for loop's doing. So again, this for loop is doing this, then whoops, whoa, this, this, and then the second for loop is doing this, this, this. And basically them together would just be that, next that, and so on till the 50th. So hopefully that was explained better now. So we'll do that for J, and then this time J is less than the width. So this is the horizontal component, J++. And we'll go ahead and what we'll do is if J is equal to 0, so this is our first line, first section, first width, and if J is equal to the last one, which is our height, width, -1, and we'll do -1, so it's just back a bit by 1, because if it was to do our full width, then it would go over the width, over the boundaries. So if it's those two, then we will print out our asterisks. All right, so that prints our asterisk, and then else if it's not those two, then we will just print a blank space. There you go. So that's the middle bit, that's the asterisk. All right, now we'll go ahead, test that. Also another thing I forgot to do is we actually need to do a next line. So we have to put a next line to go to the next one, and then the next line, and then the next line, and then the next line. All right, so we'll do this, see how it goes. And there are build errors, of course. What were the build errors? There's an expected this before the this. Okay, so right here, a common mistake again. Instead of it's not a comma, it's a semicolon. So we'll do that. Pop that debugger, and let's see how it goes. And it should actually, whoa, okay. So it is creating a lot of lines. Yep, that is an error there. I think I need to actually move this to the, because it's doing for every J and it adds that. So it's going plus. Yeah, okay, so I think it has to be here, the next line. So let's try it again. Hopefully this time it works. It should. And boom. Okay, so there you go. So we've got that as our first line, and then this as our second line. It does seem we didn't need that -1. What's this? I don't know why this is there. That's probably, did we do anything to that? Well, what is that? There's no code saying what that is. Okay, we'll just do this for now. And what we'll actually do is that we'll set it to 25 and that to 25 as well. Okay, and we'll try and load that again. So this is a work in progress. That should be good, but that isn't good. So we did need them with -1 because otherwise it's not gonna show. The problem is, it's no, there shouldn't be a problem with this one. That should be it. Yep, there you go. Okay, that's good. Except for this, whatever this is. Don't know why that's happening there. Int I with, yep, int j. So with, yes, j plus plus, yes. If j is equal to 0, the first one, and if j is equal to with -1, because it has to be less than. Yep, no wonder. Yep, we need that. I left them. Oh, I think it's because we didn't. Okay, so we also need to create a new line here. So cal endl. There you go. That should fix it. Because it's what it's doing is it's actually creating it on here and then it's going to the next line. So that should fix it. And boom, there you go. Okay, so there you go. It goes to the new line, and it's all done and well. Sweet. Now again, for the bottom border, it's literally the same thing as the top one. Don't forget that end line count. And there. Now this should create our border. And boom, that's it. That's done. There you go. Well, that's it for our code. We initialized the variables. We created the setup of the game where the snake game would be true once we set this up. We will not move. We will set a random position. And if we do, if it is the same place as our fruit, to remove any disadvantages, we create another position. There is, there is an error for this. Instead of an if, we'll actually do a while. So, because otherwise it's not going to repeat if it's an if. So a while makes it be like, if while it's this, while x is equal to the target x, and while y is equal to target y, then we'll keep repeating the random. So yeah, that's a better one, not if. Realize that mistake. So let's go ahead and save that. Score 0, and then we'll draw our window. So first we clear it up, and then we say our top line, top border, and then our middle borders with the space in between, and then our final border. Yep, there you go. And that should be it for this video, and hopefully you guys understood that. If there's anything you didn't understand, feel free to ask me any questions in the comment section, and I'll definitely answer you. But yeah, in the next video we'll probably focus on our snake now, focus on moving the snake and putting any input to our snake. So yeah, that should be it. Thanks guys for watching, and hopefully you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for the next one. Have a good one, guys.